It is pretty interesting because if it is not omnipotent, but all knowing and knows all these things, like it's like scary because it's like we don't want. As a human, I'm like, no, I don't want it making those decisions. But if you like purely take emotion out of it, logically, it's like, well, would you rather a human with flaws that could do something fatally bad, or this thing that has a lot more context and knowledge and experience, right? You say you want an experienced person making a decision. Well, technically, this has the experience of everyone ever in history on the internet, right?
It could, but the idea is that it could also provide so much wealth for everybody that we no longer have to think about money in terms of like you need food, you need shelter. Then the problem with that is like then you run into human nature problems. And so we have to teach children how to pursue their interests rather than how to just worry about having a job to feed themselves. Because if they don't get incentivized, and then we also have VR and AR and games that you can play all day long that are way more exciting than real life. That you don't want to just take your government money and play Call of Duty all day.
And like you went from the most overstimulating, beautiful, different utopia world where everything's amazing and you're with your friends and you're having fun, and then you take it off and you're back in like real life, which sucks. And I mean, I don't know what the timeline is on that stuff, but it's clear that that's going to happen in our lifetimes. And
that's the Matrix, and that's coming.
And I remember watching that when I was younger, and I remember like when I was really young, fresh off of watching that anime, I was like, man, I hope they figure this out in my lifetime. So when I'm like 80 years old, I could just put one of those on and just live in the video game. And it's like, at first he's scared, but then he ends up loving it because it's just like.
Is it really important for things to happen physically in the real, air quotes, real world? Or will it be just as fulfilling to exist in these virtual worlds? So if a simulation exists and it's so good that it's impossible to differentiate between the simulation and real life. And, there's a lot of people that are very intelligent people that believe we are inside of some sort of a simulation currently. He said the odds of us not being in a simulation are in billions.